All right. Yeah. So we are live now. And let's
Okay.
just give it a couple of minutes. I'm hoping that there'll be people who will start joining in. I'll
Okay.
also enable the comments so people who want to send in comments can do that. So let me also
Sure.
just ping on this particular chat that we are live because otherwise people don't get to know that this is the
Realize.
that it's yeah, they don't know where exactly has is it showing up. Okay. All right, yeah. So, I think we'll start off in I'm glad that there are some people who are joining in, so which is good.
Okay.
So for those of you who have, joined us as yet and who are planning to join us, I will leave the introduction to Sam, but I think the most important thing for all of us to know is that Samantha has been a very, very important part of OMBC for a very long time. So pretty much since the inception, she's been an active member of OMBC, contributing not only from a knowledge point of view, but from her time point of view for so many of our social impact work, initiatives that we do. The other thing is that Samantha has very graciously accepted the invitation to become a thought leader again for this year. So last year, Samantha was a part of a very important panel discussion that we had about healthy baking and how it can actually become a viable business venture. This year we have a very exciting topic which we will talk about a little bit before we sign off today. But
Yeah.
Sam, for I'm sure there are very very few people who will not know you on OMBC, like I was saying before we started the session. But for the benefit of those who don't know you or who are new to OMBC, I'll request you to share a couple of lines about yourself and let them know who you are.
Sure. Okay, sure. Thank you so much for having me on this. I have been with the OMC, on the OMBC page for quite some time. Actually, not I can't call it a page; it's a community. I think I've made more friends here than I have made friends anywhere else. So I was with corporate for about 20 years before I found my passion in baking. And while I start off with regular baking, I quickly shifted to baking that allows usage of healthy flour and sugar alternatives, primarily because I wanted to ensure that we are able to offer desserts as entrepreneur offering desserts to the audience, irrespective of their food preferences or food restrictions. So that was the whole aim with which I started off healthy baking as well. And it's there's been no looking back. I think it's helped me more than anything else to even taste my desserts because I really love using alternatives. So that's been my journey so far.
Yeah, and I think that is a wonderful journey. I think what Sam is probably not talking about because she's very humble like that is the incredible work she's also done in the last 1.5 years as part of multiple groups and also as as a leader of Food Warriors, which is a group that she set up to ensure that food was reaching everybody who really was in need of food during the pandemic. So I think
COVID time,
that is
yeah,
some phenomenal work. I think that happened in the last 1.5 years, of course. So
yeah,
Sam, I think one of the questions that I think will help a lot of the audience also, and to get to know you a little better, but also to which I find very inspiring actually is when people may are able to make a shift in their a dramatic shift, really not just a shift but a dramatic shift in
yeah,
their careers. So you
yeah,
worked for a very long time, right? You worked from a very young age and you worked for over 20 years in the corporate
yeah,
space. And
yeah,
to work in that kind of environment and that kind of setup, and then to move into something which is extremely different. I'm sure you have would have skills which will allow you to move seamlessly across different careers, but I think that move would have been definitely different. So could
yeah.
you share a little bit about the move from, say, the corporate space to running your own venture? How was
Sure,
that
sure,
move? What were the challenges? What was the fun part?
sure.
Anything that you feel
Yeah,
will be helpful.
yeah. Actually, the move was not seamless. because I
Right.
had never entered the
Absolutely.
kitchen before that. I had no inclination to do any kind of cooking. Baking just chanced upon me. I think it was just waiting to find me, and it did find me. I can't say I found it. Surely it found me. And yeah, the biggest change that happens in, and I think this the first year that I moved, I think the first thing that kind of hit me is that there's no salary coming in at the end of the month. And I say this to everybody,
I
and
know.
it's not
Absolutely.
it's not because there was a dependency on the salary, but it was that comfort of knowing that there is a there's a balance at the end of the month. But here,
Stable.
when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go
There's a
go
stable
yeah,
income. Yeah.
stable business, yeah. So, but when
Yeah.
you go into your own business, you work for every penny. That's my
Yeah.
whole thing, right? If I
Absolutely.
choose to take
Very true.
time off, it is
Yeah.
there's a direct impact on my balance. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that,
True.
right? And
True.
if I want to keep with the trends, I need to keep upgrading myself. I need to attend trainings. There is an investment of time, money, energy that goes into it. So
Correct.
it's a 365-day learning process.
Yeah.
I know
Correct.
corporate had its own learnings, but running a business is such a different ball game completely. So
Correct.
that I think was like my biggest awakener to that shift. But
Right.
of course, that comfort of knowing that you're your own boss, you're your own cleaner
Right.
also, but you're also your own boss. So it helped.
Correct.
That
Correct.
was
And I think you
a
get
quite
no
thing.
sick days off. You get no sick days off. You get no
Yeah,
time off. You are, I also think that, sometimes it's also your family is really your a backbone, but also your workers, they are doing so much. They are pitching in so many ways to keep your
yeah,
business afloat. So I think also having them buy into your vision of wanting to do something on your own is such a big deal, right? Like,
absolutely.
having a
Yeah,
family that can understand why you made that switch and understand
yeah,
how taxing the at least first few years definitely will be
yeah.
is a big deal, right? I think that's a
Yeah,
big
I couldn't
thing.
have done it without them. They are, of course, my package dealers. They are my delivery agents. They're chief of
Definitely.
entertainment, keeping me sane. Yeah, they're all of it.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge role that they play. And then,
Yeah,
I think I completely agree with you. I think that the movement is never seamless, especially when it's so dramatic. Do you think there are any learnings from your corporate life that might have helped you in your business venture in setting up, something from something so creative? Because baking is obviously it's a
yeah,
mix of science and creativity, right? But then, like I said,
yeah.
a large part of it is creativity. So, any learnings you think that your past experience would have helped you with in the business?
Yeah, big time. Considering I was in HR, I think it required me
Right.
to interact with so many people in my job, and that kind of continued. It is all about asking here. I mean, it's not like things are going to come on a silver platter. You have to ask for help, and you will get help when you ask. I
Right.
think that's one thing that I kind of took on from corporate into here, and it there's no stopping to learn. Like I was saying, that is something that corporate also taught me, right? Because there was so much
Yeah.
of trends that were changing with people, with the Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen millions that were joining, and there was change of the way that you would handle people in the corporate space. It's very similar, I feel, in running a business, because
Correct.
I see the needs changing in the last 4.5 years. 4.5 years back, I didn't think that a 5-year-old child would decide what kind of cake he or she is going to have.
True.
Now it's
Absolutely.
all about them. I've
Yeah.
had parents who've asked me to send samples for the child to taste the cake before they order. So, so
Wow.
it's changing that much.
Yeah, it is.
And I think corporate has helped me really change that. I mean, adapt to that quite a bit. So
Yeah,
sorry,
I think that's
son.
a big thing. No, no,
But
that's okay.
yeah,
That's all right. Don't worry.
okay.
It's an informal chat, so don't worry. It's all right. Like I say, I'm very grateful. My dog has not decided to bark right now. The phone ringing is nothing compared to the dog barking and going ballistic in the middle of, a live. So it's all
Right.
in good spirit. Don't worry. And I think that comment is for you, and it's a very apt comment. You're amazing. Don't forget it. Okay, because because
Thank you.
highlighted that. You'll probably be able to see on Facebook when you go back about who it is, because the names don't a lot of times reflect in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
in the context here.
StreamYard.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, in StreamYard context here. So I think that's very interesting to know that there are children who, which is a very important point, because I think um, parents are becoming more discerning, but I think children have more discerning palates also now. They are also
Yeah.
becoming aware of what they want, and they're becoming vocal also about what they
Yeah.
really enjoy eating or they want to taste. So that
True.
leads me, to the important part that is about healthy baking, right? So you
Yes.
specialize in so many different areas, right? So you do keto, you
Yeah.
do vegan, you do diabetic friendly. I mean, very unusual. Like I said, unusual in the outside world, like not probably so much on
Right.
OMBC, but unusual in the outside world, and even on OMBC for that matter. This is a lot
Right.
of different kind of baking, okay, with so
Yeah.
many different ingredients, which maybe 5 years, 6 years back, also as recent as 5, 6 years back, people would not have heard of.
True.
So how
True.
did you move from, so we've learned a little bit about your move from, the corporate to the baking space or running your own venture. How did you move from, say, regular baking into completely alternative baking, which is healthy, which is catering to different kinds of population segments, which, so that kind of, so give us a little bit of idea of how you made that transition.
Sure. So when I did my diploma in bakery and patisserie,
Right,
I my entire course was based on egg baking, and
right,
I realized at that point of time that is at least 5 years ago, that there wasn't enough eggless bakers in the market. So I decided that
right,
if I had to create a niche for myself, it had to be in
right,
something that already did not exist already. So the first step I did was I completely moved to eggless baking, except for the keto part of it.
right,
Post that, one of the reasons I moved into baking was, I had lost my mom and I was trying to grapple around how to handle her void in my life. And
right,
my
right.
mom she had a very, very, very strong sweet tooth. She loved sweets, but she had so much of food restrictions that she was denied sweets all the time. So
That's
my motive has always been that nobody should go home without a dessert,
yeah,
so
right.
irrespective of their
So
food
sweet.
preferences, restrictions. Yeah. So that has been my guiding force of trying to figure out how do I do vegan bacon, diabetic friendly baking, and keto and things like that. So that's kind of led me down this path, actually. I started doing it very in the very nascent stage of my business itself. I started these areas, and it has kind of held on. People have still ask for it at different intervals. So I do it
Yeah,
alongside of my regular baking, but there a large part of what I do is alternative baking.
right. So, so basic, how adaptable did you find people to this kind of baking? Because it's like you said, and you're right. I think that comment is so sweet actually that nobody should go without dessert. I think that's that shows basically that your and your reason for moving into healthy baking also is essentially so personal, so is so specific to what you saw as being denied to your mom, and then you realize
Yeah.
that you wanted to do something about it. And I see that
Right.
with I don't know who I was speaking to, but a few days back I was thinking about this, that there are so many of these moms who actually identified a need because somebody immediately in their family, so women, not moms but women, so maybe like in your
Yeah.
case your mom, and in somebody's case their child, and they realize that there is no product that actually is inclusive enough to meet
True.
the health requirements of that person, especially because and especially from a baking point of view, because baking is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
generalized and so traditionalized that you often don't get things that are alternative, at least not in India. Maybe it's picking up in other
Correct.
markets or in other countries, but not so much in India. So that shift must have been really tough. So I think one of those questions I'm getting is, and if you're okay to answer the questions, it's a very simple question actually. How did you manage to expand beyond your immediate family and friends? I think this is something which is a sore point for a lot of people who run their own maybe
Right.
businesses and hesitate to find out that oftentimes, and I think most of us would have probably started like that. Like, so I remember when I started, I don't sell any longer for many years, but when I did initially, I was selling it primarily to immediate friends, like, in my circle. I didn't have a lot
Yeah.
of family in Bangalore at that time. So selling it
Right.
entirely to your neighbors and friends and all of that. But how do you expand? Is there any Any tip, anything, any ideas on how
Yeah.
they can expand beyond your immediate circle of family and friends?
Yeah, Sim. So what has worked for me, Sim, is I did a lot of sampling. I with people I
Mm.
didn't know. I actually ran meetups at the time when COVID didn't exist, of course. But I used to do meetups at my house, inviting people to come over and give their feedback on
Right.
my products. So I've done
Wow.
that. So in I would invite people from the mums group to come over, and they would come with their
Yeah.
kids, and they would actually do trials and tests of my products. There is a and the amount of trials I have done is there's no, I mean, I've lost count of the amount of trials I've done in terms of flavors, in terms of combinations. And I usually get told you come up with these crazy combinations, why, how
Combination.
do you even think of these things? But the fact is
Yeah.
that if you want to stand out in the market, if you want to make money,
Hmm.
I mean, that's not my motto, but if you want to run it
Yeah.
like a typical business,
Yeah.
you are going to have to put in time to do your trials, to do your sample reaches, because the whole
Hmm.
idea is word of mouth. I have not done any
Correct.
branding activity per se,
Correct.
or a marketing campaign of any sort. It's only been word of mouth, and that has really helped me grow. And the first
Correct.
3.5 years has been really my inner circle.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been very few people who I don't know. But now, if I look at my customer base,
Yeah.
80% are people I have never met. I have never
Correct.
known, I've never seen, right? That has really helped. Word of mouth has really helped, and encouraging people to leave reviews, leave feedback, and being accepting of the critical feedback that you receive as well, because it's not always going
Yeah.
to be great. So
Yeah. Of
I
course.
think a combination of these things have really helped me over this time to build my base beyond the inner circle.
I think that's a very valid point about the sampling, because I remember I have not done a lot of physical tasting sessions. Firstly, I think that's an excellent idea. I think whenever this situation lifts, I think people who have not tried it, I think that's an excellent idea. And thanks for sharing that. Not a lot of people share what they do so well. That's very generous. That's one. The second is that I think the sampling part. I remember when I used to send out a mail with my details. Like if somebody's asking me, okay, send us your menu. Okay, then I would make in the email, I would write that I'm going to send a couple of samples. So from this list of menu, check a couple of things that you want to taste, and let me know. And whenever you place the order, with that, I will send you a couple, some pieces of that particular flavor as samples. So I think that sampling technique works very well because it gives people
Yeah,
an idea. One is that you are genuine about your work. Okay, so you want them to taste what you're doing, and
yeah, yeah.
you're confident about your product. So like in your case,
True.
you're trying different flavors and you're confident about your flavors, and you want to get feedback. So it's honesty, it's authenticity. All of those things make a big difference when which I'm hearing from your example and from your experience, have made a big difference. And I think
Yeah,
also, like you said, it is that time frame that we need to be patient with. So 3.5 years of having sold primarily in your inner circle, inner set of people, and consistently doing that, um, is something that people need to be able to build over a period of time, and we need to be patient. I
yeah,
think a lot of times what happens with new bakers, especially if they're starting with their new ventures, they think that why is it not moving beyond, and you start getting restless, of course. So you think, why is this
yeah,
not going beyond these 5 6 people who order from me, or 10 15 whatever, but known circle. But I think it's I'm very happy that you shared that timeline, because it's realistic. Because when you get into
right.
something like this, you need to understand that it's not something which is short term. It's your decision has been
Yeah,
life changing, right? You have moved careers. This is your career. This is not, it's gone beyond a hobby. It's your business.
yeah,
So your
yeah,
time, you will need to look at a long term horizon. You can't look at 1 2 3 years. You're looking at 10
absolutely.
15 20 years maybe. So
Yeah,
that is something
yeah.
that visibility is something that a lot of bakers will need help with, right?
Yeah.
So I
Sim,
think that
so
was
while we're talking
yeah.
about this, I just want to
Yes.
share one example. There's this brand called Shakahari. Okay, so they are
Yeah.
into vegan meat and vegan products. They did
Right.
this very interesting thing during COVID. They invited people to nominate COVID heroes, to
Okay.
whom there was a pack. There was a pack of their products sent with a personalized note from whoever nominated them. So when I
Okay.
reached out to them and I asked them, can you send it to my I have 55 volunteers. I said, can you send it out to 55 volunteers? And they agreed. And every single
Wow.
one of them actually got a pack, 2 packs of frozen foods, along with a
Food.
personal
Yeah.
note from me. But the fact is that it went from Shakahari. And those
Correct.
55 people are going to remember Shakahari for their
Correct.
product and for their gesture.
Absolutely.
I think these
Absolutely.
things make all the difference.
It makes a huge difference. And I think, see, that's what I think, what you brought up also, I think, which I think a lot of new ventures and new businesses often forget is that, and which I keep saying over and over again, and which you actually, as a business, are exact and a very, very, very solid example of is how to create a business with a soul. Okay, so that is the single reason why I don't ever call a wonderful a business. I call it a business with a soul. Because there is a for what I do from a wonderful, not OMBC. Because I think from for you also, the sweet affair is essentially that, you are not, you're not you want to make it sustainable. So it's not like you want to make a loss, right? You are making it sustainable. You are emphasizing on making sure that you're keeping up with trends and reaching out and giving the best to your customers. But at the same time, your business is tied to a social cause, or different
Yeah,
social causes.
yeah,
You never forget to align it to something where somewhere it goes back into the system, and it gives back. I think that is
yeah,
something that a lot of people are hesitant because they think our businesses are small. Okay, large businesses need to do it, but actually, it's not the size of the business; it's the size of
yeah,
the heart, really. So it's not.
absolutely,
It's got nothing to do
absolutely.
with size of the business. So I think that is something that I find has probably, and I know, like with the same brand that you spoke about, right? They were recognizing people who had done something. Okay, they were recognizing
Exactly.
people who were making such a big difference to society. They could have recognized anybody, right? But they
Yeah,
chose to recognize and send their product to people who they knew would truly deserve it. Okay, and I think that
yeah,
is their way of linking back and saying, what, this is our way of actually linking our business to a bigger, larger social cause. I think those
yeah.
things probably make a particular
Larger
business stand
impact.
out. Yeah, people
Yeah,
know you for who you are, because of who you are. Like,
yeah.
not your
True,
product. So they become
true, true,
aware of Sam, and they know, okay, Sam has the sweet affair. So I think that connect
true,
starts becoming more personal. Even so, unknown people
true.
also start personally connecting with you. I think that is where
Correct.
you make a big difference. I think that is
Yes, yes.
why I feel that your venture itself is a very, very big example of that. How you actually work with it. So, and I think a lot of
Thank
people
you.
can learn a lot from that. So
Thank you.
so I'm hoping. Does anybody have any other questions? Does anybody have more questions for Sam? Of course, this is supposed to be a short conversation, so we are keeping it short and quick. But if anybody has a last question, you can ask. Meanwhile, just to share with everybody what Sam is going to cover in OMBC Discover. Going to cover in OMBC Discover. That sounds so odd, but okay. Because but so for all of you, like you've heard, Sam does a lot of vegan baking. So what she's going to do for us in OMBC Discover is she's going to do a bake along and a session where she shares a demonstration where she shares how we are going to use non-dairy fats, okay, in our
Yeah,
in our baking. So basically nut based butters, the healthy oils that are there. Because of her extensive experience in vegan baking, she's a right fit for understanding, especially because fat is such an incredibly important part of baking. But more importantly, I think that's the source which actually a lot of times defines a bake as vegan and non-vegan also. So I think especially because most of the people are focused on using dairy based butter. So what basically is the difference when you bake with something like nut butters or alternative fats? So that's what Sam is going to cover for us. Sam, before we sign off, and if I don't get any other question, I don't see any other as of now, but I think before we sign off, just your last parting thoughts before we get. Now I
sure,
think
sure.
people will probably meet you during the Discover event. So I think any last
Yeah.
thoughts before that?
Yeah, I just wish we were meeting in person for Discover this year, like we did in
I,
the first year. It was so amazing to meet, put a face to a
yeah.
name, firstly, because we've been following people like Pradeepa Nair and so many other people who I have never met before, and I got the opportunity to meet them in person. It was so amazing. But well, let's make the most of what we have available. The fact is
Yeah.
that OMBC Discover has been so informative, specifically for me personally, not just as a baker, but even personally, where we talked about millets and we talked about the uses of in baking and our everyday lives. It's been an amazing opportunity for me to be a thought leader last year and again this year, and I'm so excited about it. I've been thinking about it, about what we do totally different, and make it really exciting for people who are going to be part of it. So if the folks have not registered, don't lose time. You have to register quickly.
Yeah, because online also, like, which is why I mean, I think in one of the earlier, I think on the fireside chat, somebody said, because of the constant bump that Simran was doing, I submitted the recipe. So now I'm bumping up these posts, not for any other reason, but because, I think a lot of times we will, and this is for everybody, let me clarify this, that, just because it's online, it doesn't mean we will have 1,000 people sitting online. Okay. So please
Exactly.
do not wait for the last minute to register, because no meaningful conversation can happen if we have thousands of people. OMBC with Discover was not designed for, like a mass media event. So, it's ideal to be able to, register on time, because then you have some level of conversation at least with, with what the thought leaders are doing. And I think more importantly, like, to your point, Sam, I wish we were meeting, in person. And I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that next year we will meet in person.
Oh, I
Uh,
know.
it's just 2 years back to back of virtual is just too just too heavy actually to take. So I think
Yeah.
we must definitely meet in person. But I think all the more reason for the virtual audience to be limited, because in person at least you can have some level of interaction. You can ask those questions.
True.
You can be comfortable with each other. But in a virtual event, unless there's just that many people only, you can't really have a meaningful engagement. So it's very
True.
important for people to understand that and register on time. So I think I'm getting a lot of comments saying that awesome, we're looking forward, and how I wish we could all meet in person. I'm sure we will 2022. Let's just keep praying, and let's just stay at home. I think that's all that I can say at this point in time. There's really nothing much. So thank you so much, Sam, and we
Thank you,
are
Sam.
getting closing on the dot. But I think so all of you who haven't registered, please register on time. All of you who missed our discussion between Sam and me, this will be on this will be there on the wall as well, and I will upload it onto the OMBC YouTube link, so that we can share this externally. And looking forward to the session with Samantha this year, and learning
Same
a lot
here.
more. I think I learned a lot more last year, lot of stuff last year. I'm looking forward to learning a lot more this year.
Same here,
Thank you
Sam.
so much, Sam, and have a
Thank you
good
again for
rest of the
having
week
me.
ahead. Most welcome anytime. Always welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.